SEO is dead because of this. I'm familiar with that. And there's no need to really talk about it anymore. No, it was interesting, Google Instant. We've had it for maybe a month. I think it's a little less. Is that on your watch? Tells you?
It's
29 days.
29 days. So, of course, that's a good enough reason to have a session on it, the 29th day anniversary. You know, it came out, I actually looked at it and it felt like not so revolutionary, I just almost immediately forgot about it. It just felt like it always had been there that way. But there's certainly been a huge amount of discussion about what it means for user behavior, what it means for SEO, what it means for PPC. In this session, we're going to look at the SEO and the user behavior portions of it. We have some presentations to explore a little bit about how it works, what's going on, what we can discover. And then at the end of the day, there's also another session that will talk specifically about Google Instant and the paid ads. So when we get to the questions, we've got plenty of time for that. All the paid ad stuff, I'll be like, no, we're going to do the SEO and user behavior stuff over here. And to kick us off, one of the people who's been heavily involved in it and was also at the launch presentation for it, please welcome Othar Hansson from Google.
Hi. So yeah, I'm Othar Hansson. My instant search prefix is Othar space H. So let's say you can't remember how to spell my name. If you can start just with Othar and then something with an H, then Google Instant would give you the rest of it. So I'm assuming that everyone has seen Google Instant, but so I'll breeze pretty quickly through to set the context for these guys who've done some interesting analyses. So you might not know, but the average query in English takes people 9 seconds to enter, and then finally Google comes in, and boom, we do all of our stuff in 300 milliseconds in our server, and then people spend about 15 seconds finding a good result to click on. And up to now, we focused mostly on back-end infrastructure to make Google as fast as possible, right? That's what most of the people in my building focus on all day long, to get that to about 300 milliseconds. We're also trying to make the web faster so that this network time will be improved. That's one of the reasons we built Chrome and why we push on making the web faster in other ways. But there's still a huge amount of headroom to make search faster and more efficient, and fundamentally more interactive. So this 9 seconds that it takes you to enter a query, we could be giving you much better feedback as you're doing that. And in fact, one of the sources of feedback is the actual results themselves. So we can speed up both halves of this equation by showing you results as you type. And that's the fundamental insight of Google Instant. So I'm here today to just talk about 3 things. Advertisers only briefly, because Danny will yell at me, but what Google users need to know, what advertisers need to know, and what webmasters need to know. Matt Cutts told me that months ago we had a meeting to talk about how we should deal with the SEO community, and he said, well, if there's really a big problem for SEOs that they have to deal with it, I'll go out to SMX and give a talk and explain how everything works. And if there's not actually a big problem, then we'll send you Othar. So I'm here, so there isn't actually a huge problem for SEOs, but I can imagine that there's concerns from individual sites. So what do Google users need to know? Well, I'm sure you all remember reading the manual that explains how to use Google Search. And the process is think of something to search for, find a search box, start typing. And Google Instant still follows that same manual. My demo query here is one of our old sayings at Google. And in fact, the screenshot hangs in our Google Instant lab. So if you remember this vague phrase, focus on the user and all else will follow, and you start typing it, at some point we predict the rest of it. And we show you that prediction in gray text. Projectors uniformly are terrible at projecting gray text, but else will follow is shown in gray text. And we furthermore show you results for that prediction. So that's what Google Instant is in a nutshell. Here's a more traditional query. You want to search for flowers. My mom always says that nothing says I love you like getting a bunch of flowers that were ordered over the internet. So if you want to search for flowers to send to your mother, start typing flowers, and at some point we predict that you want flowers, and we show you a whole results page for that query flowers. Right? We don't show you a results page for the query flow, which is much, much less likely. Probably 2 or 3 orders of magnitude less likely. The results page is the same as it ever was. It has ads, it has all the special features, spelling, maps, etc. We're just showing it to you based on this prediction. So that's really all that Google Instant is for users, and as Danny pointed out, it's kind of obvious in retrospect. I had a guy join Google on a day that I gave a demo to all the engineers. And afterwards he said, "Do you mean that Google hasn't always worked that way?" And it seems to me that like nothing was new. That showing results instantly was. I was surprised that we haven't always done that, or we hadn't tried it before. And it is a pretty natural change. So the several user features are, we're showing you instant results. They're powered by the predictions that we're making using our autocomplete feature, what some of you might call suggest. If you use arrow keys, you can get to the other autocomplete predictions using a feature we call scroll to search. And we're also rolling out other features on top of this basic framework. So keyboard nav rolled out over the last week. And you can expect more sort of interactive features to be added onto this framework as we progress. So what do advertisers need to know? Well, same as for users, everything you already know about how to use Google still applies, right? So that's the 99% of what you need to know. The second important point is that instant results are for the predicted query. So we're showing you a results page for flowers, not for the thing you've typed, which might be flow. And then the third thing, which applies to actually webmaster impressions and also ad impressions, and also impressions that show up in users' history in google.com/history, the same impression logic